Hey, and welcome to Alchemist Camp, where we learn Elixir programming by building things. Last episode, we built a stat logger that would regularly go to YouTube and log some statistics on a channel. The subscribers, the number of videos published, and the total number of views. And I challenged you to extend it by adding another API and logging more stats. Looked at a few options, including Twitter. Unfortunately, they won't give me access to the dev API without a phone number. And as a digital nomad, I don't have a stable phone number. So I went with Alexa. Alexa is a site ranking site that I guess Amazon bought. They'll tell you what the rank of a website is. So this is YouTube. This is kind of boring because they're so huge, they've just stayed at number 2 continuously. Let's check out Indie Hackers for a comparison. This is a forum for people who are building businesses, mostly technical people, but some not. And it is rightfully growing. You can see it's now ranked number 48,694 in the world. And it has gone up by this much, and it's ranking especially well in the United States. We're going to hook this up for Alchemist Camp, and as you might expect, Alchemist Camp is very small at this point still. It's not even ranked yet. That's okay. We'll set up the logging, so we'll just keep on checking Alexa regularly until it's ranked. Now, Alexa has an API that you can get through AWS. I spent some time looking at it, and it seems to just be for getting information on the top sites. I didn't see anything for querying a specific site, but thankfully, Stack Overflow told me about an undocumented API that I guess is used for the Alexa toolbar and some other third-party apps, and so we're just going to use that. There's a URL you can use with a query string to get data on a site, and I've loaded that up for Elixir Lang. You can see it's especially popular in China, where it's ranked 22,000, and it's ranked 123,000 elsewhere. This is XML, which will require pulling in another dependency, but that's also not too difficult. There's one called SweetXml, which is a wrapper around an Erlang library. And I've just pulled that into the project, and it's a bit more involved than parsing JSON because XML is a bit more involved, but it's not too crazy. This wrapper gives you a new sigil, an X sigil for parsing XML, and we'll just play around with it a little bit in the shell. So to get you up to speed with what I've done, I have added a dependency in the mix for this, SweetXml version 0.6, and then in the StatWatch file, I've used it. But let's first just get an example. All right, let's start by making a request to the URL using HTTP poison, and we will separate the body out of that request as usual. data.alexa.com. I don't know what the CLI equals 10 is for, but the request does not work if that's not in. And for the URL, instead of alchemist.camp, we're going to use twitter.com just so there's enough information. Otherwise, we won't be sure that it'll actually work. And there we go. As you can see, we've got this big string of XML, and we can parse it out by using SweetXml. We're going to import it just so we have access to all the helpers it provides. And then we can simply take the body and pipe it into XPath, use our X sigil, and then specify what we're looking for. This is a little bit hard to read, as you can tell. Instead of looking at that, we're just going to look at the web page. You can see in Firefox, it's pretty clear what's there. So there's Alexa, then inside of that there's an SD tag, then inside of that we've got popularity, reach, rank, and country code. And inside of each of those there are key value pairs. So we don't actually have opening and closing tags. These are all self-closing, and we need to look at the attributes on the tag. And specifically, we want the text of the popularity, since that's the rank. We're not going to get the delta because we'll be regularly querying this, so we can figure the delta out ourselves. So to get the popularity, we would do this. Can't have the trailing slash. Okay, so we got the popularity, and this is still a lot of junk to look at. What we want to get out of the popularity is specifically this text tag, and you do that by using an @ symbol. So /@ text, all caps, because text is all caps. Okay, and it says 13. That is because Twitter is the 13th most popular site on Alexa. We can verify here. So twitter.com is number 13. And we should see US, a field for the US, and rank 8. And I don't see any change, which is interesting because usually delta is listed. Okay, so delta is +0. I guess they just don't display it on the web page when that's the case. So we could go in and look at these other attributes if we wanted to, the reach rank, or the rank delta, or the country. Oh, we need the @ sign, like so. But it doesn't matter a whole lot. I don't think we're going to log the country either, although that might be sort of interesting. So what I have done to update the script, I have changed fetch stats to take a URL argument as well as a channel ID. So this is the ID of the YouTube channel, and this is the URL of the site itself. And I've added another get that goes to Alexa and uses that URL and just grabs the popularity out. And if the popularity is 0, instead of just putting an empty string in the file that we're generating, we'll put a field that says unranked. And that is pretty much it, except that in generating the items, we now include Alexa rank at the end as well. So we've got now, which is the current time, subscriber count, video count, view count, Alexa, and of course the column names also needs an Alexa, or else it won't make sense. So this is all it takes. Also, I've modified the function for saving CSVs so that it can also take a name. So by default the name will be stats, but it can take a name and it will go into a stats directory with the name .csv. And that's so that we can get multiple CSVs. I'm also going to track some other sites besides just alchemist.camp. I'm going to track one of my friend's sites, another site of my own, some other sites in the same general space, because now that the tool is made, might as well take advantage of it. And since this is a mix project, all it would take to add to the server that powers alchemist.camp would be to go into the mix file for that repo and add this one as a dependency. So it would be StatWatch is the name of this project, and then instead of doing it the way we have been here, since these other things are coming from a central repository, we'll just specify a path, and then maybe it'll be ////StatWatch or something like that. And with that relative path, then we can add an applications section up here, an application. You may have seen this in Phoenix apps or other OTP projects, or other Nix projects, I should say. And then we just add StatWatch, and that would be it. Every time we started our server, it would start up StatWatch and start logging the stats that we care about from YouTube and Alexa and whatever else gets added in the future. And that's really all there is to it. Since it's an OTP app, you just drop it in there and it'll be in the supervision tree. Somehow the process gets killed, it'll get restarted. So hope you've found this interesting and useful, and soon you're logging all kinds of stats you care about for your projects. If you want more like this, subscribe to the YouTube channel, click the bell so you don't miss any episodes, and check out alchemist.camp, the website. And yes, .camp is a top-level domain. So go to alchemist.camp, check out the show notes, check out the source code, and check out some of the other projects. Build some stuff. It's a great way to learn. Till next time, code on.